Hello men, welcome back to NR Recaps. Nowadays I'm going to recap a 2014 comedy film named The Cobbler. So let's begin. In the Lower East Side of New York City, year 1903, numerous Jewish businessmen go to the home of a cobbler named Pinchas. All of them lament about how a European leader, Ger German, has disturbed their paintings and how he has closed numerous buildings and shops. They speak approximately how they're in prefer of Ger German and the way Ger German uses thugs in opposition to them. Pinchas reminds them that Ger German has humans, however they tell him that Ger German doesn't have human beings as a substitute, he has thugs which he makes use of to make the life of the traders miserable. Pinchas doesn't recognize why they may be telling him all that. He tells them he is just a cobbler and he doesn't recognize what they want him to do. Moreover, Ger German is not his consumer, so how will he connect with Ger German? They bring out Ger German's shoe, deliver it to him and inform him Ger German is now his consumer. After leaving the meeting, Pinchas goes to a room where he brings out an vintage sewing system. He uses it to sew Ger German's shoe. As he works, his son comes to meet him. He looks at the sewing system and he is greatly surprised at how incredible and lovable it is. Inquisitively he asks his father where they got the gadget from. Pinchas tells him the gadget is from his father, his son's grandfather, and the system turned into exceeded right down to him. He asks who made the machine and Pinchas tells his son to take a seat. He tells him that in the future a vagrant visits their home. This vagrant has been omitted in all of the neighboring homes and no person wants to accommodate him, so with compassion his father contains the vagrant. Tomorrow as they wake, the vagrant is nowhere to be observed and in replace of the vagrant they discover the device. Currently Max Simkin, the grandson of Pinchas, goes to their shoe restore shop. As he arrives he drops his coffee, opens the door and cleans the keep. Before he begins his responsibility he receives a client. As he attends to him, an older lady comes to him with a shoe belonging to her son Albert and asks Max to promote it or hold it, despite the fact that Max tells her he does not promote footwear. The girl additionally informs him that her son's coat is inside the house. After attending to his customers he goes out of doors his store, wherein he sees a beautiful female making a name and going towards her vehicle. He seems at her emotionally and she or he involves ask for his lighter. He tells her he would not have one, but when he tries to talk to her she leaves him. As he seems at them, Jimmy, his next block neighbor who owns a barbing saloon, asks him if he's envious of the couple, which means the female and her husband. Jimmy tells him that the couples are so quiet and that if they have a kid one won't be able to observe their baby. Then he compliments that Max is a handsome guy with a job too, so he must discover a pretty woman to construct a circle of relatives with. Max replies that he desires to find his way. He says the shoemaking enterprise has been surpassed from technology to era and he doesn't assume it is his manner. Jimmy tries to speak to him but he enters his save. He starts a evolved ingesting and then receives a vacationer, a completely pretty younger woman who asks if he's the shop proprietor. He tells her he is not the owner and she or he asks if the proprietor, his father, could be coming soon. He tells the lady his father is not coming quickly and she introduces herself as Carmen Herrera, who works with the Lower East Side Motion Committee. Their committee works to prevent the wealthy from taking the constructing of the negative and constructing luxurious homes around them. He asks her how a lot the rich pay and says he needs to sell his store, so she takes him outside the building. She asks him to look around and notice how the city seems like a domestic and if the wealthy take it, it becomes prohibited for the negative and it'll now not look as it appears. He shares her concept and signs and symptoms on the ebook she is retaining. She asks him if he is free that night and tells him to join her for a rally round the road for a person named Solomon, as a rich girl wants Solomon's house. As she leaves, Jimmy comes out and teases him by way of asking if he collected her wide variety. He leaves work that night and walks domestic. At home he meets his susceptible and sick mother. She asks him if he brought her pears and to tell his father to get pears. She talks about a female that once appreciated him and tells him to invite the lady to dinner. He tells her the lady is now married with youngsters, however his mom maintains insisting, so he accepts. She tells him her dinner is inside the microwave and whilst he goes there he sees that it's her bag in it. He returns to work the following day and while he looks after the house he gets a client. The patron is a neighborhood thug, Leon Ludlow. Leon asks him to clean the shoe he is placing on and gives him a shoe to change its sole. Leon says he needs that shoe inside the night time and should gather it while Max tells him he closes by means of 6. Leon replies that Max should close after he gets his shoe. He goes to restore Leon's shoe, however his gadget spoils all through the repair. He calls for an engineer but the device can't be repaired till the following day, so he uses the historic stitching gadget. As he works, Jimmy comes Jimmy remarks that he has counseled his father to throw away that machine, but his father doesn't like throwing things away. Max comments that except own family, apparently Max's father has left them, and he continues hoping his father will come again. It is 6 in the night. Max is accomplished with Leon's paintings and he awaits Leon's arrival. Jimmy closes, leaving them there, and whilst bored Max takes Leon's shoe, finds out they use the equal size 10.5 and wears it as he does his face modifications into Leon's face. He gets scared and eliminates it, and he returns to his actual face. He closes the door to the shop and attempts it again. He is taking every other shoe in the shop and wears it, however he does not alternate. He realizes it's the system. He is going to the device, makes use of it on another shoe and wears it. His face adjustments again. He goes domestic fulfilled that day, and the next day he wears a shoe to Jimmy's keep, and he finds out Jimmy would not apprehend him. He wears a Chinese man's shoe to the marketplace, wears any other shoe to a eating place, eats, and then goes to the bathroom to change his shoes. He wears every other guy's shoe out so he would not pay. He sees a rich man drive living in a pricey car. He threatens the man for his footwear, wears the footwear and drives away with the car he goes using, and returns domestic satisfied. He talks to his mom that night time and asks her if there's something she wishes to be or do. She tells him all she desires is to peer his father Abraham once more. That night time he takes one in every of his father's shoes and takes it to paintings. The following day his neighbor, the quiet lady he likes, Taryn, comes to his store along with her boyfriend Emiliano's shoe. As she leaves he is taking the shoe and enters a bar. Like Emiliano sits by way of the attendant and a woman comes to meet him. The girl tells him she noticed him going out of the bar with a person in advance, and they start to talk. They leave the bar together and he asks her to take him domestic, however she tells him she has a boyfriend. He leaves the car and on his way domestic he sees Emiliano coming out of the house. He quick removes one leg of the shoe. After Emiliano leaves he knocks on the door and enters to satisfy Taryn in the toilet. She kisses him and asks him to sign up for her. He attempts to remove his garments and then recollects that if he eliminates the shoe he's going to trade into his actual self, so he runs away. He receives home that night and takes his father's form to consume dinner together with his mom. His mother receives a super dinner with dances and she sleeps. He wakes up to discover she is dead. He organizes her burial. He does a sit-down Shiva with his own family for per week to honor his mother. He returns to paintings and Leon comes for his footwear. Leon threatens to kill him, so he tails Leon home. He reveals out his house and he goes wearing his shoe. Later he meets Leon's female friend who is approximately to run away, and after the woman leaves he tries to find Leon's watches but finds numerous weapons. Leon arrives and meets him looking like Leon. Leon assaults him but he subdues Leon and adjustments the shoe. He asks for Leon's pricey watches, ties him down and threatens with a teaser. They listen a knock from Leon's thugs and he follows them as Leon. They go to an area in which the thugs are about to kill a man for betraying them. He stops the thug from killing the person. Then they take him to some other woman, Mrs. Greenewald, who gives him a bag of cash to kill a person. He returns to Leon's house but Leon has loosed the ropes. They get into a combat and within the system one of the shoes gets rid of and Leon figures he is the one. He uses the shoe of the heel shoe he's sporting to kill Leon. He runs domestic and reports himself to the police the next day. However, whilst the officers get there, Leon isn't always at the floor and the money in bag are lacking. He is going to work and finds the shoe inside the bag inside his keep. He hurriedly incorporates it and waves down a cab. However, Jimmy stops him. Jimmy says he behaves like his father did before they couldn't find him. Jimmy tells him his father were given concerned with some evil guys so he had to run away. He hit Jimmy for mendacity to him. He returns the cash to Mrs. Greenewald, however she asks her thugs to kill him within the automobile. He changes his shoes, which frightens the thugs and they get into an accident. He unearths out the man or woman inexperienced Award desires to kill is Solomon, the person Carmen prepared a rally for. He is going to Carmen and they are trying to persuade Solomon out of the residence. However, Solomon refuses, so he comes to a decision to do something. He deceives Greenewald into believing that Solomon desires to relocate and acquire some cash. While Greenewald unearths out he is going to meet the actual Solomon and threatens to kill him and his daughter, but she has been set up and a newscaster is recording her. She leaves defeated. Max returns to his life. Carmen asks him out on a date and he additionally is going to Leon's girlfriend's residence carrying Leon's shoes to offer her all his wristwatches. On his way, the person he launched from the thugs kidnaps him, but they get into an twist of fate. He wakes up at Jimmy's residence. Jimmy offers him pickles to drink and exhibits that he's his father Abraham. Abraham gets rid of his footwear, revealing his actual face, and takes Max to a shelf with several shoes exceeded on from era to generation. He indicates him an automobile and a driving force just as he wishes, and they power away. Max asks how they got the Stitcher and Abraham tells him the tale, and the film ends here. So I'm hoping you enjoy the video, so click any video of 3 of them and revel in next, and do not forget to subscribe our channel and hit the like button. Thank you for watching. See you quickly.